I want you to imagine something for a moment. It's late in the month. You check your bank account, and you just pause, not because something went wrong, but because nothing changed. You worked, you earned money, you tried to be careful, at least you think you did, and yet somehow your money still disappears faster than it arrives. And the strange part is, you don't even remember most of it happening. A few small purchases, food, transport, little things you told yourself were just this once. Nothing big, nothing dramatic, but still, you end up asking the same question again. Where did it all go? And if that sounds familiar, it's not because you're bad with money, it's because you're following a system that quietly produces that result. Most people think saving money is about discipline, about saying no more often, being stricter, controlling yourself. But if that was true, then anyone who knows what to do would already be financially stable. And clearly, that's not how it works. Because the real issue is simpler and a bit more uncomfortable. Most people don't have a savings system, they have a reaction system. Money comes in, life happens, money leaves, and in between there is no structure, only decisions made in the moment, based on mood, stress, convenience. That's why saving feels so hard. Not because people are irresponsible, but because they're unprotected from their own impulses. And here's the key part most people miss. Your brain is not designed to save money naturally. It's designed to survive today and not optimize for next month. So when you rely on willpower alone, you're basically fighting your own psychology every single day. And that's not a fair fight. Let's make it real. You get paid at the beginning of the month. For a moment you feel calm, maybe even a bit of control. You think, this time I'll do better. And for a few days, it feels true. But then life starts again. A friend invites you out. You're tired and order food. A subscription renews. A small purchase feels justified because you worked for it. Nothing big happens in any single moment. And that's exactly why it works. Because money doesn't disappear in one decision, it disappears in 1,000 small permissions. Each one feels harmless alone. That's the trap. And here's something even more important. Spending gives you something instantly. Comfort, relief, pleasure, but saving gives you nothing right now. Only a promise of safety later, and your brain will almost always choose what it can feel immediately. So if your system doesn't separate saving from decision-making, spending will always win by default. Not because it's better, but because it's faster. Now, most people try to save like this. I'll save what's left at the end of the month, but that idea already breaks before the month even starts, because there is almost never anything left. Life expands to fill what is available. And what's left at the end is usually nothing structured, so you're not really saving money, you're hoping money survives your lifestyle. And hope is not a system. Here's the turning point. Saving money is not a discipline problem, it's a timing problem. Most people try to save at the end. But financially stable people do the opposite. They save at the beginning, before life gets access to everything. Because once money enters your hands, it is no longer neutral. It becomes emotional instantly. Stress, freedom, pressure, reward. And once emotions are involved, logic becomes weak. So the only way to make saving consistent is to remove it from emotional decisions, not by forcing yourself, but by changing the order things happen in. And when you do that, something shifts. Saving stops feeling like a decision. It becomes automatic, like rent, like bills, like brushing your teeth, not emotional, just part of the system. And that's when things get easier. Not because you became more disciplined, but because you stop making every decision from scratch. And most people don't fail at saving money because they don't care. They fail because they're trying to beat psychology without changing the system behind it. And once you see that clearly, you stop blaming yourself for every small mistake. You stop treating money like a test of discipline. And you start seeing it for what it really is. A structure problem, not a character problem. You don't need to become someone else, you just need to stop rebuilding your financial decisions every single time, because the goal was never perfection. It was never about never spending. It was about reaching a point where your future doesn't depend on how motivated you feel today. And once that foundation is in place, everything else becomes lighter. And maybe that's really what this is about. Not saving money through willpower, but understanding the psychology that quietly makes saving feel easy.